as you can see, I am back talking NBA basketball. And in today's video, we are going to be doing another top 10 video. And today we're going to be ranking the top 10 NBA MVPs of all time. Kind of fun. Yes, this is a list I found online, but as you guys know, I will be giving my own list and own opinion after I'm done with this list. I like doing that just to jog my memory, your memory, just to see how experts think about the same topics. So yeah, if you guys would love to give this video a like, I would also love that too. And if you also just want to just give support somehow, giving a like is the best way to do it also. Subscribe to the channel if you are loving the content. I do a plethora of different types of content on this channel. And also we have a subscriber giveaway at 7.5k. Obviously after that, we're on our way to 10,000, which is so crazy to think about. So thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, I guess that's it. If you guys didn't know, I didn't post yesterday, but make sure you check out the post the day before yesterday. I'm uploading pretty much every other day for the next week or so. And yeah, it should be pretty nice. So yeah, I think that's all I needed to say. So let's get started. Alright, so what we're going to be ranking in today's video are the top 10 NBA MVP. So basically, we're going to look at a bunch of different MVP seasons and I guess rank them. Obviously, MVPs are the best players in the league at that certain point in time. So there is no right, there is no wrong answer. My answers are going to be dumb and stupid. This list is probably going to be dumb and stupid. It's just opinionated, I guess you could say. There are some great ones that I can think about, hopefully that are on the top 10 list. If not, I'll always be talking about them anyway. But for number 10, they have here Larry Bird from 1985-1986 on the Boston Celtics. He averaged 25.8 points per game, 9.9 rebounds, 6.8 assists. And that team went on to win 67 games and 15 losses. Wow. I think this is his second or third from his 3 in a row MVP, seasons he had. Larry Bird during the, mid 80s was on a roll. Obviously, again, winning 3 MVPs back to back to back. I always say this about Larry Bird. I think Larry Bird, in its prime, was one of the best players of all time. Larry Bird is one of my favorite players of all time because I feel like in some way, shape, or form, he's very underrated, at least in my opinion. Some people don't even have Larry Bird in their, top 10, top 15, top 20, even. Like, people really forget about Larry Bird. And at number 9 here, we have Shaquille O'Neal from the LA Lakers. This was his MVP season from 1999 to 2000. Shaq as a pure center. There's no one better than Shaq, and I think during this year, and even during that stretch of the late 90s, early 2000s, he was arguably the best player in the NBA. Like, obviously, you had him and Allen Iverson and Tim Duncan as well. Really great players, but Shaq was just on a different level, at least in my opinion, so that's really cool that he actually made it on the list. And next up, I think number 8 on the list is Irving Magic Johnson. Yes, Magic Johnson also makes the top 10. I think that's pretty dope. This year, he averaged, in 1986 and 1987, averaged 24 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 12 assists. Wow. That's pretty crazy. They went on to win 65 games, only losing 17. I think it was also the year that Magic beat Larry Bird in the finals. Yeah, it is. They went to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game series, winning the last game. Wow, that's pretty crazy. So yeah, this was the year Magic won his MVP. It might have been his last MVP. It's definitely later on in the 80s where Magic was, he definitely deteriorated a lot faster than Larry Bird did. But the longevity of Magic's career and how good he was for a very long time was pretty amazing. And I think obviously averaging 12 assists a game is pretty unheard of nowadays. I think LeBron averaged 10 assists last year and led the NBA, which was totally crazy. It's pretty rare that someone or any player averages over 10 assists a game, at least in today's day and age. But Magic Johnson, one of the game's best players of all time, in my opinion, still the greatest point guard of all time. Even though Steph Curry is absolutely amazing, he's definitely number 2. But wow, yeah, I definitely love learning and watching more and more about that Showtime Laker team. It's one of the best times of basketball was that mid '80s basketball where you had Dr. J and the Sixers, Bird and the Celtics, and Magic and the Lakers, and a bunch of other very solid NBA players that are very forgotten about in today's age. Everyone always sort of remembers the good old days of the '90s basketball, but the '80s basketball was still very good, very competitive, and Magic was obviously at the top of that ship, obviously with that crazy Laker team with him and Kareem and James Worthy. Oh my goodness, that team was a lot of fun to watch, and Magic was obviously at the head of it, winning an MVP, very much deserved. Alright, so next up we have number 7, right? At number 7, we have here Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from the Milwaukee Bucks, 1971-1972. He averaged, only being 24 years old, averaging 35 points per game, 16.6 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. Oh my god, yeah. Winning a total of 63 games and only losing 19 of them. Kareem and Wilt and Bill Russell, those guys are just literally in a league of their own. Their basketball talent, they were ahead of their time period, man. It's so crazy to think about. Imagine watching these games live. It'd probably just be super insane. You'd think these guys were cheating or something like that, man. That's super crazy. Obviously, players nowadays in the NBA average 35. That's not too crazy, I guess you could say, but those are usually very talented offensive scoring guards. Obviously, Bradley Beal, James Harden, Steph Curry, those type of players who can shoot threes and get to the rim and score and are quick. Kareem, for his height, is definitely very skillful, but with no 3-point shot, man, that's really tough to do, and that's really awesome that he actually got to do that. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming this was when he won his title. I know he did win a title with Oscar Robertson. Don't know if this is the same year or not, but I'm assuming it is. But yeah, that's really good. Oscar and him, that's definitely one of the best dynamic duos of all time, if you're asking me. For sure. Let's see. At number 6, we have LeBron James already. We have LeBron James from the Cleveland Cavaliers from 08 and 09. Honestly, this era of LeBron basketball just because when I was like first starting to watch NBA basketball, like those dark blue, maroon, not maroon, yeah, I guess yeah, Cavs jerseys and that crazy Cleveland team, man, and it was just literally LeBron just trying his very best. And at the end of the day, he took off that jersey after losing to the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. Super disappointed. Man, that's crazy. At age 24 as well, averaging 28 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, winning a total of 66 games and only losing 16 of them. Man, like that was a good couple of years of LeBron over in Cleveland, and I know for a fact if he even got a smidgen of more help on that team, dude, that he would have won a title in Cleveland. Like if he just had literally like another all-star type of player, which I know people cry about all the time, like, oh, LeBron needs help, LeBron needs help. Well, he had no help for such a long time. It's pretty crazy, and he made, well, I don't want to say he made, but like Ilgauskas was an all-star. What's his name? Mo Williams was an all-star. Like he made a lot of people look really good. That, in all honesty, maybe not would have been the best players without LeBron. I definitely think that this era of LeBron was definitely more of a scoring type of player. Obviously, LeBron nowadays, can hit a three, turnaround chase. This player, LeBron, was a slasher. Not much of a power slasher, but man, was he quick. He could even hit some good mid-range jump shots. I mean, we all remember what he did to I think it was either the Wizards in the playoffs, or was it the Pistons in the playoffs, where he just took over. Like, he can do that even during that era of Cleveland basketball at that young of an age, at only 24. Like, as an MVP, dude, like, you can tell he was sprouting into, the player that he is now, which, is arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. Like, it's super great to think about that. Top five. We are now into the top five. And at number five, we have Wilt, the Stilt Chamberlain. Yes, Wilt Chamberlain, finally. On the Philadelphia 76ers, he averaged in 1966-1967, 24 points. 24 points and 24 rebounds in an entire season, and 8 assists for a total of 68 wins and 13 losses. So not only was it the same length of time for the NBA season, he rebounded the ball on average 24 times. That is so crazy. Like, the only way, and I hear this reason a lot of how these types of, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain stats come out for rebounds, because, the NBA wasn't obviously as talented back then. So, a lot of players probably missed a lot more shots, which turns into a lot more rebounds if you're the tallest player on the court. So that's probably why, but that's still very impressive, at least in my opinion. This was definitely in the later years of his career. He was 30 already during this time. Man, I mean, Wilt was, like I said before, he's in a league of his own. Obviously, the 100-point game, all the crazy records and rebounding and everything that he had back in the day was absolutely insane. And if you know Wilt Chamberlain and his story, you know that he was not the healthiest of players in the NBA. So imagine if Wilt Chamberlain actually took his career seriously, he could have been even more of a crazy type of player, which is scary to think about. But I think honestly, him just averaging 24 and 24 is absolutely insane. He probably has a lot more crazier seasons than that, but as of right now, they leave him at top 5, and honestly, for the crazy career Wilt had, I think you kind of have to put him at top 5. I mean, just as a player alone during his time period and era, there's no one else like him, so it kind of makes a lot of sense. At number 4, we have LeBron James again. Yes, LeBron made the list 2 times. That's pretty funny. This is 2012, 2013 LeBron. Yes, prime LeBron James at only 28 years old, averaging 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. time period, there is no debate that LeBron was the best basketball player on earth. That dude was so dominant. It was scary to watch if you were, not rooting for LeBron during that time period, because, like I talked about before, in Cleveland, he was more of a slasher, finesse type of player. He wasn't really, going to the rim at will. He was using a lot of his quickness and everything like that. This Miami Heat LeBron would bully his way to the rim. He would bully on defense. He would bully on offense. He was still very much the court genius that we see today on the Lakers, but adding in his youth and athleticism and everything like that. But with the basketball IQ that he has now, man, it was insane to watch that. And even then, like, he could have gone even harder. He probably could have added even more to that. Obviously, we talk a lot about, the 2018 playoff push he had, the 2016 playoff push he had. That's great, LeBron. But imagine if LeBron wasn't, had his back against the wall during that time period. Oh my God, he probably could have averaged like 40 points in an NBA Finals series. Like, that's definitely insane. At number 3, we have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar again. Wow, who would have thought? We have Kareem from 1970 to 1971, so this is the year before when he was already on the list. He averaged 32 points per game and 16 rebounds, leading his team to 66 and 16 from the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I don't know if this is the year he won the title or not, like I said before, but man, what was his other one? Let me check. So we have 32, 30. Ooh. You know what? I don't know if I agree with this or not. I think he was better in 71, 72 than when he was in 70 and 71. That's just my opinion. The stats are better in the other one, so maybe I need to watch during more of that time if I'm missing something. But on paper, it looks a little better. But I mean, the entire 70s era basketball was owned by Kareem. Like, he was literally the best player of all time during that time period, all the way until, honestly, until Michael Jordan really sprouted into what he was back in the 90s. So for a good, 20 years, Kareem, maybe even Bill Russell were mentioned as the greatest players of all time. And I mean, obviously Kareem with his college days and how amazing he was then, like, I think also Kareem doesn't get enough love for being, one of the greatest players of all time. In my opinion, he's easily top 3. He's number 3, at least in my eyes. Kareem is an amazing scorer, one of the greatest leaders in sports history, on and off the court as well. A great rebounder, a great defender. Like, he had the whole package. I think a very underrated player. At number 2, ooh, interesting. At number 2, we have Michael Jordan. Yes. Is Michael Jordan number 1? We will see, but we already have Michael Jordan on the list as well. From 1995, 1996, Michael Jordan averaging 30 points per game, 6 rebounds and 4 assists on that 72 and 10 win squad. Wow. This doesn't mean he's not number 1. He can still be number 1 on the list, but quite honestly, this is probably the best version of Michael Jordan, obviously having one of the best records of all time, and not anymore, but during the time he did. And this was definitely the peak of Michael Jordan basketball. Obviously, I think this was the next year he came back from retirement, or maybe the year after that, when he really started to get his basketball rhythm back to himself, really starting to fall in love with the game again. This was just one of the most dominant years in sports history, like, for any team in any sports. I mean, sure, it's probably going to be another player we could talk about, but I'm not going to spoil that. Had another very good team success year, but at the end of the day, didn't get the job done, which sucks. But Michael Jordan did, and this team, the way it was set up with its defense and its offense and its coaching and just everything meshed so perfectly together. It's pretty incredible. It's one of the greatest sports teams in history. People still call them the greatest basketball Warriors is the best team of all time. You know that the KD, Curry, Clay, Draymond squad that annihilated the NBA. I think that's in my honest opinion the most talented NBA team of all time. But a lot of people say it's just this Michael Jordan's Bulls team because I mean I don't need to talk about it. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. He's the greatest player of all time. That's really all I need to say. But at number one, they have ranked as the best MVP season of all time. The first and only unanimous MVP, and that is Mr. Steph Curry. Yes, Steph Curry on this website is ranked the number one best MVP season. This was the 2015-2016 Steph Curry, obviously, averaging 30 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. I think he also was on the 50-40-90 club, which, if you don't know what that means, it's I think it's 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. I think that's what it is. He was a part of that club during that time period. Also, obviously, going 73-9. So, I don't know if the people who did this just saw that, oh, you remember when Steph was the first ever unanimous MVP? That probably means he's the best MVP ever. Not necessarily. I think the narrative of that season really fit together very well with the play of Steph Curry. Now, obviously, if that team went 65, had a 65-win season, would Steph been a unanimous MVP but still had the same stats and still had the same impact? Probably not, but just the fact that the Warriors as a whole entire team was so dominant and played together so well, that narrative really helped project Steph Curry in the voting, which made him the unanimous MVP. So I'm not saying this is the wrong answer. It's a very good answer, and obviously all answers are the right answer, but it's one of those things where if they didn't win 73 games that year, would Steph been the unanimous MVP? Probably not, but it's a good thing that they did because he is and he was. And bro, like I remember watching so many Golden State Warrior games during that time and just being in awe of Steph Curry and his play. And even now with Steph Curry and his play still makes my jaw drop, especially during his Laker and Warrior game. That game was crazy. He was crazy. I love seeing Steph play like that. So I'm okay with leaving Steph at number one. I think that's an okay one. Like, that's the unanimous MVP. Now, obviously, all time, if you're taking, Michael Jordan or Steph Curry, obviously you're taking Michael Jordan, at least I am, but individually in that point in time, Steph Curry meant a lot during that time period, so having him number one over Michael Jordan does kind of make sense. I will argue the other Kareem. I will argue that the other Kareem, let's see, who averaged 35 and 17, was probably better than the Kareem they have ranked at number 3, so I'll switch those ones. I think LeBron at 4 is perfectly fine. I mean, you could probably even have LeBron higher than that. That'd make perfect sense. Wilt can stay at 5, like Wilt at 24 and 24, like that's just Wilt Chamberlain type of numbers. I'm not entirely sure if LeBron James in Cleveland really deserves to be top 10. There's some other really great MVPs. I mean, obviously there's KD's MVP season,